Welcome to the Wealth Initiative. Are young people today chasing careers or are they chasing freedom? I'm Terry LeNoir, your host. I'm a financial strategist. I help people create real solutions to their problems. So if you are tired of trying to figure it out, the guessing game, you want to understand how to build wealth, you've come to the right place. Thousands of college graduates walk across the stage with a degree in hand, but no job promise, nothing waiting on them. However, Gen Zs have taken a different approach. They are no longer asking for permission to build a career, to build wealth. And so I'm excited today. I'm here with my son, Garrick, and Garrick is a Gen Z. Garrick's going to share with us his insight on where things are with regards to the mindset of those Gen Z, that Gen Z generation and their promise to build wealth. So we normally have a segment called Ask Terry, but we're going to flip that a little bit and we're going to actually switch that over to Garrick and we're going to ask Garrick. Garrick, what do you got for us?
So I was asked by a buddy of mine, what field should they pursue when it comes to college? You know, they're a sophomore, so they're about to get into their last couple of years. They need to declare a major. And I told them that they need to pursue whatever that they are most comfortable with, whatever that they can see themselves doing for a job or a career. That's the path they need to pursue. You know, attend a couple classes, look into what the structure of the jobs are like and see if that's something for them. I remember you had told me when I was a teenager that when it came to at least building a business, you find something that you like to do and then find a way to make money off of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, being able to monetize what you like creates that old saying, right? If you find something you like, you'll never work a day in your life. And so that ideally gives you the opportunity to really build wealth at the same time of helping people. Because at the end of the day, the more people you help, the more money you make. So.
Right. And I definitely like the career path that I'm choosing now, because with the other career paths that I kind of dabbled in the past, I took a hard look at them a long time ago, and I realized just like how slippery of a slope some of them are. Like I worked doing YouTube videos for a while, and obviously that's a path a lot of younger people want to pursue, whether it's Twitch, YouTube, Kick, one of those streaming platforms. But I realized that a lot of them frankly become very like annoying, right? Because a lot of them, not saying all of them, but a lot of them, their daily lives is just bothering other people. And I don't want to do that. They become obnoxious because they know that becoming obnoxious and annoying people gets them clicks, gets them views, and that's what's most important.
Right? Okay. Very interesting.
When it comes to working in other fields I've worked at, like an office setting, when I was an intern in college, they didn't care too much about any personal time that I needed when it came to visiting family. If there was an emergency, I had to show up, and they weren't really mindful of what my personal needs were. And I think that's something that a lot of Gen Zs can really relate to when it comes to working. They don't mind working for a person a lot of the time, but that person that they're working for has to be able to accommodate to whatever their needs are, right? So if they tell their boss, hey, I have to go travel across the country for my grandma or my dad's funeral, and the boss says, no, you're going to stay here because you have work to do, that's when a lot of them quit, because they're like, well, you're not really respecting what's going on in my life. I'm not asking to do this every day. It's a death. It only happens like so frequently, but I have to go.
So very interesting in that the mindset, right? Because of course, from my generation, you got a job and you worked and you showed up and the job came first. The Gen Z, they've flipped that, right? And they're demanding more freedom. They're looking for more flexibility, and so that opportunity, it's there, but it's not as prevalent as one might think. So, question for you: your degree. Tell us about what your degree is in, and a little about your path to where you are right now.
So my degree was in communications. So diving a little bit into what you study with communications, because I know the trend is saying, oh, you're just learning how to talk to people. That's not really communications. Communications is a little bit of business, a little bit of psychology, and I know that's like a very hot take to say to a lot of people that have a very jaded view of communications, but that's truly what it is. I mean, we learn how to effectively uh, work with an office environment. We learn how to effectively communicate with others on multiple different levels, not just talking face to face, but electronic communication. There's things that we have to understand when it comes to the mindsets of certain people, how certain people communicate versus how others communicate, because not everyone communicates the same way. But the career path that I am going down right now is more so about helping people with their finances. I'm working with you on being a financial advisor. Didn't really learn too much about finances in my communications classes. There's maybe one or two math courses that I had to take in order to get my degree. Not that much, but um, it's funny how a lot of times you'll see that people when they pursue a degree at college, but then a lot of times their degree doesn't reflect the career path that they are going down.
Right. So, for the Gen Z uh, generation, most are no longer waiting for someone to hire them, right? They are taking it upon themselves to do side hustles or the different streaming platforms and creating wealth. Now, we find that in our industry quite a bit. There are a number of individuals that are under the age of 30 that have built incredible businesses in a very short time. They are earning well over six figures under the age of 30, chasing their dreams because they're chasing freedom, not just chasing the bag, right?
Right.
So, how do you see your evolution in your building your business over the next couple of years, and where do you see yourself going?
I definitely see over the next couple of years a big change in my mindset because initially I was raised with that you go to college and then get a job and you stick with that job. But then, things change over time, and luckily you were more open to more broader sense when it came to pursuing a career path. And I realized that I was still kind of in this employer's mindset or employee mindset when I really didn't need to be, and I'm getting myself out of that. And it takes a lot of discipline to do that because a lot of people's main motivation for getting out of bed to go to work is simply because if I don't go, then I get fired. But I'm choosing to wake myself up early to get things done because I'm pursuing something that I want, and no one's going to stop me. And I know that once I achieve what I want, then I can look back at the hard road that I've paved and I can say I did that. I'm stealing a quote from Fresh Prince.
All right. So, well, let me ask you, what surprised you most about the real world, real jobs after you graduated, getting that your first career job?
Um, Getting a job right after college is way harder than what a lot of people will paint it as. They do not prepare you for how difficult it is to land a job, and more so landing a job that's within your field of study right after college because you know I I was applying left and right after I had finished all my credits. And, I finished school in December and I didn't even land a job until July. And I wasn't just like not doing anything for those 7 months. I was applying left and right, but I was going to interviews. I even got invited by certain companies to interview with them. So I'm thinking when they invited me, I was like, oh, okay, a nice job is lining up for me. But after a couple interviews, they tell me, "Oh no, we're gonna pursue other candidates," and I feel a little cheated because I'm like, the only reason I applied to you guys was because you asked me to. I would have never even known about your company had you not reached out to me.
Interesting, interesting. So the shift, where was your interest, or what made you change your interest level into entrepreneurship, right? Or building your own business ownership?
I think the straw that broke the camel's back when it came to creating that shift was the state job that I was applying for last year. Because you remember, I went to multiple interviews. I was filling out all the forms. I made sure to do everything on time. I took the tests that were needed, and everything seemed to be lining up fine. And then they just tell me, like maybe a week after my last interview, and I had to reach out to them for them to let me know. Like they didn't even reach out to me first. I had to reach out to them, and they said, "Oh, we're going to pursue other candidates, and we reserve the right to not tell you why we're not going to hire you." And that job was probably going to pay me somewhere between 48 to 50K a year, which, for someone in their 20s starting their career path, that's not too bad. But I realized, why am I fighting for a job that's barely going to pay me 50K a year when I can work my own thing and get to an income that's way higher than what any job is just going to give me? I can earn my income instead of it being given to me.
All right. Well, so why do you think so many Gen Z generation are less excited about the traditional corporate path, with those same challenges that you experienced?
I think it is all a matter of perception and how people take in the corporate path when it comes to life choices. Because with TV shows and short films and other things that you'll see over the media, they really demonize, pursuing a corporate career path, because they let you know, like, hey, like, you're going to work for these people. Yeah, you might get paid somewhat well, but they're not going to respect you. They're not going to make accommodations for you unless you really get your hands dirty doing things that you really shouldn't be doing for that company, right? And really muddying your own name for their sake.
Mm.
Then people are like, well, I don't want to do that. And, why would I work hard to work for someone that isn't going to respect me, isn't going to make accommodations for me? I mean, there's plenty of stories I could pull up right now of folks quitting their jobs today because of something as simple as their boss wants to deny them their very legal right to get paternity leave after they've had a child.
Mm. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that is big. So the corporate setting has changed, and it has shifted. The Gen Z generation are looking for other outlets, and so with that, the other challenges that they face with regards to, that corporate job, right, are several things like, college debt,
Mhm.
the AI aspect of what's happening, and taking over a lot of jobs, right? Administrative assistants and things like that are going away because of AI, right? And some
Mhm.
of the other things. Can you speak to some of the things that you know and things that you've experienced in that realm?
Well, I do have a buddy from college. He said he was going to pursue building some AI software because he knows that that would be a really lucrative career path for him. He knows that if he does well with building AI software and people buy it, then he painted it as printing his own money. Um, and I I know that a lot of people they feel a certain way about AI, and I have to say that not only is it just affecting businesses when it comes to administrative assistant, it's also affecting freelance workers. A lot of people they make their money off of freelance work, just doing art for people, doing commissions for folks online. I have actually paid a few artists for some personal YouTube art that I needed, and people are now instead using AI to get that stuff done. I don't really support that because I'd rather not take money out of the pockets of the freelancers, the actual artists that have developed that skill over time and have worked on their craft and want to express that, but obviously they have to charge
Right,
or to
right.
get that done. So why would I uh, cheat those people, especially since I am in certain communities that have a lot of those artists, so they can speak to me on a more personal level. Why would I take money out of their pockets just to go to ChatGPT and have them generate an image for me?
Right.
That doesn't seem right to me. I don't even feel comfortable going on a YouTube video that has AI art as the thumbnail.
Yeah, the idea of that has a counterpoint though, and that counterpoint is technology. So as technology progresses, we are faced with embracing it or being run over by it because it's going to move forward. So that challenge, uh, what are, do you have an area of uh, field of study or work that, or those areas that you looked into that you feel are not going to be impacted by AI?
Um, I would say probably nursing or the medical field, just because you could use AI for certain health related questions. I'm definitely not opposed to using AI to answer some questions here and there. Um, but I do know that in order to get the best results with your healthcare and someone attending to your health needs, it's best to talk to someone in person because they're the ones that can take a look at you up close and personal, take a look at your body and understand everything inside and out. A computer can't really do that.
Right, right. Any other fields?
Financial services.
Okay.
Uh, I definitely would prefer to rely on an actual person for financial related questions and not putting all of my personal financial information out there on the internet for someone to easily hack into and get my information. No one wants that.
Right.
It's definitely important to remember that AI doesn't give the best answers when it comes to asking certain questions. So there may be times where AI will tell you to do something that might not be the best for you financially, but because it doesn't know your whole situation, nor does it understand the best path for you moving forward, but someone that you're talking to in person would be able to better understand what it is you're going through and what can be done.
Very good point. Quick uh, comment on that. You know, even with individuals, I had a young man who had gone and listened to a online financial person, and this financial person was speaking generally, and he was speaking to a group, and the advice that was given was to help get out of debt and to get rid of those credit cards, cut them up. He interpreted that as cancel those credit cards. What it did is it tanked his credit because he cut up and canceled his credit, and therefore it failed. And I expressed to him that's the difference between actually speaking with someone and reading something online and you interpreting what's being said.
Hmm.
Also, with regards to the idea generationally as how things change. I remember, I came up when I graduated college, computers were just making their way into the workforce, right? They were just making their way into everyone's desktop, right? So the PC was now on the desk. No longer was it the dummy terminal and, everything is on the main database. What that did is that took the opportunity that a lot of people had for typing pools and putting letters together. And so a lot of people thought, well, this is going to ruin careers that individuals had, whether it was being personal assistants, being secretaries, and it didn't. It was just a shift, right? And so that shift created opportunities that ended up being great opportunities for individuals to grow and to advance in other aspects of that career.
So what's important is making sure that this new technology or something new implemented to the workforce is adaptable to allow human input in order to keep or maybe create new jobs.
Absolutely. You must embrace it. In doing so, you put yourself in a position to then be able to harness that new technology and then be able to actually master it and put yourself in a very usable, employable desire space. So are there any other closing points that you want to make before we close out?
Yeah. So there is actually something I recently read on Forbes that had to do with Gen Z and college graduates of Gen Z. And as it turns out, Forbes claims that 42% of Gen Zs who are college grads are underemployed. And underemployed means that you have a degree, but your job doesn't necessarily reflect that. So if you say have a bachelor's or a master's degree and you work at Starbucks, nothing wrong with working at Starbucks, but you have a degree and you're not necessarily using it. Right? So 42% according to Forbes, and I saw plenty of other sources that claimed that number was even higher, probably looking at 50, 51, 52%.
That's quite a bit, quite a bit. If you're a young person and you're trying to figure it out, you want to get to a better understanding of an opportunity, a career path for you, a possibility to create that source of freedom, of happiness that you can build income, then we're going to actually ask you to reach out and touch base with us. Right. So down in the comments below, feel free to reach out. We're actually going to have you reach out to Garrick, and any comments, feel free to ask him. He's a Gen Z. He's in that field. He's in that age group, and I'm sure you can share some enlightenment and some ideas that might help. So Garrick, why don't you share with everyone how to get in contact with you?
So you can reach out to me at Garrick LeNoir Wealth Initiative. That is my Instagram handle. My messages are completely open, so feel free to DM me there.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. I enjoyed spending this time with you, having an opportunity to talk about something that is important and something that is very crucial. The idea that most individuals want to earn six figures and even more and create financial freedom is something that's big, and it's a conversation that we're able to help with. So I'm sure that a lot of individuals will reach out to you and look to get some more advice and some more information. So if you found this information helpful, right, we want you to like, we want you to subscribe, and we want you to share. And there's also our Facebook group, right? So we want you to plug in so you can join our community, right? It's the Wealth Initiative, and it's a private group that we have on Facebook. What we are able to do is share knowledge. We share information. So it's a great opportunity for you to meet individuals of like minds and individuals that are looking to strive and grow and create more of a wealth-based knowledge for themselves. So if you want to join our group, feel free to reach out. We'll make sure that we send you the information and send you the invite. Thank you. Terry LeNoir, Wealth Initiative, where we help individuals build wealth.
Chase that bag.